All right, Tom here, Flip Anything USA. So Ricardo here, great roofer. He does a lot of my work. I don't think twice. You know, I hire him to do stuff. Again, like I say, it's good to have professionals and people that you can rely on that know what they're doing. So you can see what a rough roof we got here. It is very rough. And you can just see this is a old, really overdue roof. So, hey Richard, so what Richard or Ricardo, I say, suggested right off the bat was, you can see this valley we have. We have these 2 points, between these two roofs. I'll let him kind of show you. And of course he sees immediately, there's a valley here that really doesn't need to be here. It's flat, causes leaks, it's bad, it's kind of built-in obsolescence on this roof. So what he suggested right away was, you can see his tape, this line here, is to bridge these 2 points together, and that'll eliminate that valley, which is a really good idea. So we're gonna do that. So we'll do that, and then all this will tear down. He'll replace the plywood. We have plywood that needs to be replaced near the edges, right, Richard?
The edges.
Because again, that's where it deteriorates, starts to, you know, the wood falls place. And of course, I looked over here, and he immediately saw the same thing I did over on the chimney here. Yeah, you can see. Yeah. So there's a groove here, a kerf groove here. I call it a kerf from my woodworking days, where the metal goes in, but it's still flush to the surface, and we don't want that, right?
No, we can change it.
Yeah, so we'll put a kerf up here,
Got it.
a little higher, and then he'll put in metal that'll rest in there and go down, correct? And it'll be a whole lot better roof. It'll be a whole lot better seal around the chimney, because things leak around chimneys all the time. But so what were you wanting to do exactly? Go ahead and explain.
We're gonna remove this, cut this up, and put another one against the wall here, and then 3/4 cut here, and 4 inches down is kind of flush, and they're gonna be, you know, reflashing this one.
Gotcha.
Got it right here. Very air flashing like 5 inches down, 4 up, and then put your camouflage and seal, and then painting it, the camouflage. In that way, we eliminate water going through the side is outside.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of doing what's there, but it's raising it up a bit. It's a lot better to get it up off the surface. Leaves and stuff will build up here. Leaves can fall in here. Water comes in here, infiltrates the roof there. So anyway, so we'll take care of that too. And again, it's nice to be able to move safe. And of course, it's a Saturday right now. He's a hard worker. He's like me. He works, you know, he just gets it done. And so it's a Saturday morning. He's here. He's going to, he told me he could be here Monday with a haul off, like a dumpster. And he's going to rip all this roof off Monday, put it in the dumpster. We're gonna have the paper, the materials ready for him. So he's gonna tar paper this whole thing out so that it's what we call dried in, meaning if it rains, it won't get wet inside because it'll all be dried in, we call it. And then the only conflict I have is that he's gonna come back Thursday, so that gives me 4 days to fix the fascia. You can see over here where that plywood is. We got multiple areas where I've got rotten edges. You can see how bad this is along the edge. And so I've got fascia to replace. So it's all gonna time out, gonna get it done fast. I'll be here with Beto probably Monday. And so he'll bring a dumpster, they'll strip all this off. Beto will go get the materials, the tar paper, so he can dry this in. Beto and I and the crew will come back, and what we'll do is we'll fix the fascia before Thursday when Ricardo's going to be back with his crew, and we'll have this whole damn roof done by Thursday. So that'll be good. It'll be nice to have it done, knock it out. So that's it. Just just wanted to share this with you while it's happening. So anyhow, Ricardo, we were just wrapping up, and Ricardo did bring up something else that I should have caught that I didn't, and that is, go ahead, Ricardo, you tell us.
Well, we need to put it, this is the chimney cap, because the metal comes here down, flat, and 4 or 5 inches here, which covered this crack.
Right.
You know, it goes up, up, flat, and up. And then you put the chimney cap. All this solid, no, that way the water not go here, goes flat.
Right.
It's protected
Right.
forever.
To bring it up to more modern standards, what he's talking about is, like I say, is a big metal cap runs down, runs over this. You can see how this is typical, but this can allow water to get into. But so the cap will come over. It'll be like a brown metal or something, or we'll paint it. But and then also the other thing was we got. And then he said that runs up, and then it's always good to have a. You want to have a screen, a filter on here, because you get what they call chimney swallows, and snakes can come down looking for the birds and get into the house. But so then on top of that, a stack will go on top of that. That'll is like a cage, lets the smoke out, but it'll also deflect the rain. So good call on that. So he's measuring up for that, and he'll have the tin knockers, as I call them, knock out one of those as well. So yeah, one more thing I just caught here is, remember inside this is the 3-day deal. There's a stove that I don't want, don't need, don't really like it. This is the stack for it. So we just realized, don't roof around that. We got to pull that stack, get rid of that thing. So that's another thing we'll be doing here. But you can see, look how dilapidated this roof is. It is just terrible. It is a mess. So anyways, yeah, this is a very rough. There's like 3 roofs here. You can see last one, previous, and then another one below that. So we got 3 roofs on this roof, and then we have this partial roof that's actually not in bad condition. So they had torn it off before fixed it and put down a single roof. So, but anyhow, yeah, this is just a nightmare up here as far as the roof goes. But it's going to be easy to rip off and throw away and replace the bad plywood and put it all new on. It'll be great. I got roofers tearing off the roof right now. They've already got a pretty good chunk of it going, and you can see what's going on up there. They are just scraping with shovels and tearing it up, and then that stuff's all going right in here behind me. It's surprising. Look at all that. Didn't look like it was that much when it was sitting there, you know. It's just one little thin layer on a roof, but you get enough of that debris, and there it is. Now you can look up here and you'll see there was a roof on here not too long ago, right here, and then the older parts are up here that were like they'd gone over an existing roof, but it's all pretty terrible and rough. So they're gonna scrape all that off clean. I'm not even gonna bother going up there. Maybe I'll go up there just to show you guys. And then this plywood here is to fix the damaged plywood, and there's a lot of it. I've had way worse, but that's not bad. And then you can see we got the asphalt paper that you see there. After they're done and they get all this plywood in, they'll go in and they'll nail that stuff up in place, and that'll kind of take care of drying in. We call that drying in the roof. If they say it's dried in, it means they have the paper down. And it should be up here on the flip-flops, but it's pretty hot. So you can see we've already got this curve cut. So see, this is a cut we added. I don't really like the way they did it, but there's a cut there and here's a cut here, and that is going to have the metal's going to go in that cut, and it's going to be a much better, tougher way for water to get out, or get in, I should say. You can see here, like I say, they're tearing it up, and like that, where I got a hole, there's a stack there where there was like an old stove in there that we're not going to keep, so we're going to just fill that over and remove the flume, and then this part here, this is kind of a weird valley that we don't need. You can see there's a point. There's a point there, and there's another point right here. And we might be able to connect those points and just make this all plywood here, rather than this little valley that you see here in the middle. That's really a bad idea. It's just a water catcher. Gives water a place to sit and pool. So it was poorly designed from the beginning on this roof for that part. But we're gonna fix that so it all just slopes off, And at least that's my plan right now. I hate to go back and build something back up that's already kind of got that built-in obsolescence. So you can see what they're doing. And actually the wood looks better than I thought, but you can see down here, see? There's a problem there, wood-wise. And more plywood issues here. That's all gonna pull up. And I gotta replace the fascia there. So when they pull up and replace this plywood, I don't want them to nail it down on that edge because I'm pulling that stuff off because it's already pretty rotten. Let's see how the rest of this looks. Yeah, you can see there's another real rough. It's these outside edges that were leaking the worst. You can see all the plywood along this outside edge is gonna have to be replaced. And what I don't want them to do is I don't want them to nail it to that fascia because I'm gonna replace that fascia with material I have inside the house right now. And so they're gonna kind of do this roof and then I'll pull that fascia off that they didn't nail to. Whoa, there's a soft spot on the roof I just stepped on. Didn't feel good at all. And then I'll go ahead and, like I say, I'll get that new fascia up underneath there and then we'll just nail down to that. So let me get back out of here. Yeah, I know our fascia's inside there. I could smell it. I was in the office, or not in the office, inside the house the other day, and I was like, "Where's the wood?" And but I could smell it, so I know it was in there. And the only room I didn't really check was the garage. So we'll take a look here, and yeah, I can already see it. So this wood you see here, I had to have this custom milled because it's 1 3/4 inch thick cedar. It's rough, it smells great, but that's what's on the edges. That's the fascia that's around this building. A lot of times, usually it's just, 8 by inch, 2 by 8s that go around. And when I say 2, that's really only 1.5 inches. 2 by 8s are only about 1 5/8 inches thick when you're talking about regular lumber. But anyhow, this is true 2 by 8s. I think they're actually 1 3/4 inches. Well, it looks like it's almost a full 2 inch. Anyways, we had it milled to specs, so it matches the material that we already have here. So in the house, like I say, there's that stove that we're gonna yank because we just don't need a heater here. Still there's some debris. Anyhow, all that'll be out of here soon. And this is a bunch of crap that came out of the attic, and there is a lot more in there. I'm not gonna go up there now, too hot. But there's a lot more of that stuff in there too. And I don't think I'm gonna go out this way, but that's what's happening. Okay, Tom here, they've got most of the roof stripped. And you can see all the new plywood up here. We're replacing all the rotten stuff. And there's quite a bit. You can see down here. You can see back there. They've already patched the certain things. But anyways, we had a little issue with getting material here, but all good now. Sometimes tempers run high when it's getting hot on top of the roof. People are uncomfortable and they want to go home. They got a new job to start the next day, but we got it all handled. Richard, he's doing the work that we talked about. First part of this video, Richard here he put in that, cut in his groove. You can see he's making the metal. It's gonna rest in that groove. See better over here. Put his metal here. He's already made up the cap. Looks good. Much better than the stock cap that was on there. It was just basically a little puddle of cement. But that's how we used to do it. It worked forever. It's still, I'm not saying it wasn't bad, but this is probably a little bit better what we got. So this is kind of a newer service. They got this smaller bin that's actually adequate for a lot of jobs, and really happy with the service because A lot of times we'll get a big, what we call a 20-yard dumpster, or a 40-yard is the same size but much taller. But anyhow, this is just right for just taking basically a roof away. And anyways, it's a cool service. It's more cost effective than the big roll-offs. And like I say, this guy's picking it up with, like just a slightly oversized pickup, which is really cool. So, but anyways, you might want to check those out if you ever get something like that for yourselves. Just checking on the progress over here on our fascia at the 3-day deal, as I call it. You can see we've had a lunch break, and now we've gotten the fascia on. You can see they got the 45s cut on the existing beams that were rotten on the outside edge. Got some grooves cut in here, except the plywood that kind of shields the tails of the trusses that come down. So you can see what we got here. He's gonna cut this and he's gonna return it to over there. And you can see they've already, wow, that's pretty nasty. You can see they cut the beam off flush. It wasn't supporting where it's at anyways. And now he's gonna nail on a fascia right over the top of that other one. It'll give us a better drip edge because the roofs kind of have a compound intersection, and it'll be better. Do we even have any insulation up there? Yeah, I'm looking up here. There's actually no insulation up there. And at least not that I can see. Jeez. That's not good. Anyways, it's looking pretty clean. You can see. I didn't think they were going to have a joint here. I think they got a joint here. Right there. I don't know what happened on that. Hey, Beto, I thought you weren't going to have a joint on that fascia on the far left. What? Why, is it too long, or you didn't get a piece long enough?
It was 6 inches too short.
Oh.
Yeah. When we figured out where the highest point was.
Right.
And so I had to find a place where there was support, and that's the only place. So I wasn't gonna put a 6-inch piece. You know what I mean?
Right. But there is tail support in that, right?
I framed it in there.
Okay. Okay.
So it's strong.
Yeah. So what we're talking about here is, we thought we had this fascia was going to be a one piece. We thought he had it covered, but by the time he cut the miters on there, I guess he was a little bit short. So, it's not the end of the world. I'd rather not have a joint there, but it happens. But he said he supported it, so it'll be fine. It's going to get painted, so it won't even show. So, anyhow, just checking in on the job. I'm running back and forth. There's actually another property I bought right down the street here, just before I started this blog. It was a real good deal too, and it was one I had to jump on, move on very quick. I'll walk down there another time, not just yet. But that was another one that I had to move on very quickly. It was also one of the reasons I kind of knew the values in this neighborhood, because I had been studying the neighbors. It's getting hotter today. Anyways, we're getting it figured out here. This is probably the worst part of the fascia, what we're working on right now. It's just got kind of a funky intersection, and it got really weather beaten in that corner where you see Beto behind me working. So he's kind of got to kind of fit it in, because nothing's really perfect, not really any real good square reference to come off of. So there's a little bit of eyeball on it, holding up fascia and kind of just adjusting it. And he'll trim on that beam that he's pulling a nail on out of right now. And then after he gets this piece scabbed on here, this piece going here, then this will scab on top of that piece, and then we'll return from there to this point. Anyways, that's what's happening. It's not pretty. There's rat poop and all kinds of stuff coming out of that opening. Anyways, don't want to breathe it. All right, let's see what's happening.
Es que por eso estaba para abajo, ¿verdad? Porque aquí Si le subo, ¿se mira a nivel, mando? ¿Cómo quedó el 45 ahí, don?
Quedó bien. Como quieras te corte.
Oh shit, you're short.
No, ahí está bien.
Fuck.
No, that shit just exploded out.
Oh.
I don't think if I push this up, Tom, I don't think this is gonna be level.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it looks. Push it up for now. Just see what it does. It actually isn't bad. Push it up higher. It needs to go higher. You're yeah. You get yeah. Armando, if you get under, I'll just eyeball it. Get under on the brick. It's definitely got to go up on the left. But Mondo, get up on that step. Yeah, because see what you don't see is I'm eyeing it to the beam that's over that carport or over that entry. A little higher. Yeah, here, go up higher. Keep pushing, or maybe you can get a nail in the far end. Or is the taper what you want? Here. Hey, do this real quick. Eyeball it this way and see if it looks like you're coming out this way.
I can't tell from there.
Let me look here. That it doesn't look bad. It looks like it has to come in some. Don't nail it. Yeah, if you're gonna nail it, better nail it way at this end because it's got to push up quite a bit. He can't see what I see from back here, but after he nails it, I can show him what I'm seeing. Wait, push it up. You're not even.
Dale para arriba. Más. Okay.
It's got a pretty big gap at the bottom, Beto.
Salió el clavo.
Yeah, it's not very good here. But see it.
It's because we're pushing it too high.
No, you're not. Look, I'll show you why you're not. Come over here. Look here. Let up here. Eye it to the beam. See what I mean? Push it up. Up more. More. That's about right there. Yeah, he's short. Short. That's about where you're going to be. See, it'll go all the way up till it touches that. So you got a reference there. But you're short. You got a pry bar. He's stuck in that end. Here you go. Oh, you got it. Oh. Anyways, it's kind of a pain in the ass because the stuff that's up there is falling apart. And it's kind of miserable conditions. But anyways, we got to figure it out. Anyhow, more when we get it nailed up. Back on the 3-day deal, fascia, and still it's a bigger pain in the ass. Or actually, it's as much of a pain in the ass as I expected it would be. Anyways, we had a little human error also that didn't help, but that happens too. So anyhow, we're getting it though. But this is kind of cool. I was walking around the property, and in the bushes back here, I just found this little pot holder, which I think is kind of cool. You know, I always like to find little mementos from the properties that I buy. I got some cool trespassing sign. I found the folding bicycle. Which we can go over there. From here, I'll go over there, and I actually had a bicycle place. I took it over there and told them to go ahead and fix it up, you know, put new brakes and chrome and, you know, just fix it up. It's kind of a nice little memento from this property. So we'll go look at that next too. But anyhow, I was kind of happy to find this. I thought this is kind of neat, and I actually got a friend that'd probably love to have that. But for now, it'll just go in my little memento pile of things, along with the ammo box or the locker that we found in the attic over at the lake house. Also there at the lake house, found something else. Found a couple. I think I found the pictures of the patriarch and the matriarch from 1948, which are kind of neat. I found those in the attic too. So you never know what you can find, what you're going to find in the attic. That's pretty cool. I found some cool stuff. I found some old books, old Disney books, not from another property in Idaho I bought one time. I found old vintage books, Little Black Sambo, Little Brown Cocoa, books that are no longer in print, that would never be printed today. Anyways, so anyhow, I just thought that was pretty cool. Get you a good look at it. Looks like it's somebody went to a lot of work here. I don't think it was mass produced, but little welds and stuff. You know, I've got a steel shop, so I can appreciate how much work that was. But anyhow, I found that in the bushes. It's going to make me want to kind of walk around and look some more. Maybe I'll find something else. Getting closer. They had to recut this piece. They didn't figure in the miter, so they cut the length and then cut the miter and came up a little short. Happens to us all, so no big deal.
Bájale allá, Mando. Dale poquito para acá. Acá, dale para arriba.
We'll nail it and then he'll push it up.
Sí, poquito. Dale para arriba, Mando, poquito. Oh, poquito, güey.
It looks like you maybe nail 3 feet before you push up. Maybe it'll keep that joint right. Maybe.
Dale para arriba, güey. Mando, no, Mando.
You know, better maybe nail down, get a nail or two through the top of that plywood. Might help also keep it from pulling away when when he pushes up, it's going to widen that joint.
Morro, tráeme la pistola esa.
We're fighting a lot of old existing, some warpage and stuff too. So the better he can nail that end when he raises it up over here, you can see how much we got to raise up. It's going to try to pull it apart, and it will pull it apart a little bit, but it'll look as good as it can.
Acá ahí, dale allá, póngase allá en la fardita. Dale para arriba. You want to eyeball that for us, Tom?
Yep. So what you're going to see is I'm eyeballing it to the beam. You look at the beam that's below the raw wood, because we know that's level, or it's going to look level, whether it is or not. You want to nail it some before he pushes it up?
Yeah. Are we good there?
Well, not to the beam, but you can nail it if you feel good about that. Let's see. Oh no, push up, a little more. Go more, more. Right. That's right there is good enough. Maybe relax a little bit.
There?
That's pretty good. Yeah, you could nail it on the beam now if you wanted to. So, if you don't follow me, look at where my finger is. There's a beam right there. Right? I mean, there's the wood, the raw wood, the new wood. Below that, there's a beam, and I'm eyeing it to that beam because that's my best reference for level. Even if it's not exactly level, it's going to look level because it's going to run parallel to that beam that's running over the entrance, and I'm sure it's quite close. So anyhow, once he nails that, then he'll nail it all together. And you can see, like I said, you can see we pulled apart a little bit. That's why we were nailing it so as much as we could. We were nailing it at this beginning part, and knowing that we were going to push it up further back. But it kept this as tight as it could be. Even though we got a gap there, it would be more. It would be more if we didn't do it the way we did it. So, anyhow. So it's just kind of a cluster. The way they did it originally, it wasn't great, and we're kind of falling in behind what was existing and doing the best we can with what we got, without tearing the whole place apart. Because there's just not enough money to tear it all apart and redo it. But it doesn't need to be done. It's all structurally good. Yeah, you know what, Beto? Like right now, where you holding it right now? Go ahead and push it all the way up to the beam that you just had. The bottom of your level is dead level with the beam behind it, so you're good. Nail it right there, because good or not, it looks good. So, meaning, even if it's not exactly level, it looks level. So nail it, because it's better it looks level than actually needs to be level in that particular situation. It'd be a little different if we're talking about a countertop or a cabinet or something where something can roll off the counter. This is just water's running off the roof, and this is what aesthetically, as you walk in, you want it to look level. Even if both are out 1/8 of an inch and 4 feet or whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. Nobody can really tell. And really, I can tell you, I got a really good eye for this stuff. Most people don't catch it. I mean, 99% or 90% of people don't catch slight things that are off slightly. And this, like I said, I don't even know if it's off, but it looks great. So that's what we're doing. We'll go run over to the bicycle store, go pick up the rebuilt sliding or the folding bicycle. All right, I just got here to the bike shop, and I'm gonna go ahead and they told me the bike's ready. I went and had a little folding bicycle rebuilt, so we'll go take a look. So anyhow, I got the bicycle rebuilt. You can see they did a great job. They replaced the handlebars, they replaced the calipers, and new tires. Kept the white walls, which I thought was kind of cool. Pretty old retro bicycle. Anyways, looks like a new seat. And again, really cleaned up pretty nicely. The rims got a little rust on them still, but for just cleaning up this old bicycle, I think it came out pretty cool. It'd be a nice memento from the house that I found it in. So anyhow, that's it. And pay for it, get it loaded up. I guess actually the bike company, the guy that fixed up the bike, told me that the company I think is still around. They may not have this brand anymore, but he said all the components for them. They've been supporting different bikes like this for years. They've been around since the 30s, so all the parts were pretty readily available. So that was good here and nice for me because it's all looking good now. Anyhow, I just came out of the bike store, and see if you can see this. Probably a really bad idea doing this while I'm riding a bicycle, but pretty cool, man. Really neat. Ride's nice, and so I can adjust this so you can see it. How does that work? So, anyways, cleaned up nice, rides beautifully. Really pretty cool. Really pretty cool. So, anyways, I guess I'll go put this away. I'll take it over to the studio, and this will be part of the backdrop when we finally get the studio finished up. We can start doing some in-room stuff, but we'll have all the mementos in the background or something like that. Okay, back again. You can see it's coming together. It's just kind of a pain in the ass and putting parts, but it's all looking pretty good. It smells good too because it's cedar. Rough sawn. Pretty pungent. So tell us what you're doing, Beto.
I was just putting in some nailers for the soffit and for the plywood for the decking on top.
Cool. Is most of that old wood fairly good after you cut away most of the rot? Does it seem decent again?
I mean, yeah, because mostly it was the corners that were pretty messed up. So we just we trimmed them down. We used the saw and cut them down to size so that they match the 2x6s
Yep.
that are coming off the tails here.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks good. So the Mondo's cutting over here in the shade. Always want to be in the shade when you can. If you got a tree nearby, makes your day go a little easier. So anyways, as you saw, I just picked up the bicycle. That came out pretty cool. I'm not sure how these videos are going to tie together now, but I just picked up the bicycle. The folding bike that I pulled out of the old shed that was in this one, being the 3-day deal. And come out pretty cool. Ride's nice too. It's really, really cool. Really like it. So anyhow, we'll be back tomorrow, and we'll probably be wrapping. No, maybe work another hour or two. I'm trying to get the guys to work late. So it's starting to cool down, and I'm a little bit concerned on time. We got a lot more fascia to do around the backside, but this was the worst of it. This was the worst. All right, it's the end of the day, pretty much. I'm starting to wrap up. Anyways, we got this. The worst part is ready. You can see it's come a little ways since the first of the day. All that got put in, and this, which was kind of a pain in the ass. There's just so much rotten wood. You can see what we got up here. This is done. This is all tied in and replaced now. Extended a little bit on that one end, and all the rotten wood is gone. So everybody's ready to go home. It's been a long day and it's hot, and we'll do the rest of the stuff around the backside tomorrow. So I actually missed the material it delivers, but you can see the roof is loaded with shingles. They came this morning bright and early, and thank God, because I thought I was going to have to be here, because they got it. See, you always want them to leave that stuff, to stack it properly. You know, want to kind of put it near the middle, so that they can, you know, they'll pull from the material down as they shingle from the bottom up. And you can see we got all of our trusses, not our trusses, but our cedar up, our fascia. So that's done, and they're still working on it. But you'll see there's more work. And behind me, they've got that bad piece all in place. You'll remember yesterday I was showing how messed up that was on that piece and why we had to pull it down. And they're replacing all the bad spots, you can see. Some of that's going to get pieced in like you see there. That's just the drip edge. But you can see what we're pulling down, really nasty. That's one thing, when you got on a job like this, you can see they got nails up here. Let me show you. Nails up. Whenever you see something like that on your job, this is what you do. You flip it over. Nails up, just see that? You can see that nail? I have had nails in my feet several times. And so whenever I see a board like that, it just reminds me of when I had that nail go through the bottom of my shoe up into my foot. I had one dang near went all the way through. It was pushing up on the skin on the top of my foot. Gotta go get tetanus shots. In fact, I'm due for one because I actually got stuck on something similar recently. And you can see the guys are at work, coming around the house. This is the last stretch. Let's see what else they got. And yeah, they got another corner here. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Let's see if you can see. They'll probably just come back and cut 3 feet off the end of that and piece it back in. But like I say, there's still a little more. It's getting to be late in the day. That's a little rough up there, but you can see up here, it's a little rough. But I think it's gonna be okay. They just replaced the drip edge, which is probably the part that was rotted the most. And then we'll have some minor stuff when they're done. We're just trying to get out of the roofer's way right now. But we'll be coming back. You can tell they did a little patch job up here. Somebody did. So we'll replace these sheets of plywood here and there as needed and make it good and sound. And here we go, more nails up. I definitely don't like this, so I always turn this kind of stuff down. You can always push them down into the ground too. Because people will step on nails. And it could be anyone. It could be anyone. It's been me enough times, I know. Anyways, that's it for now, and we'll come back here tomorrow, and ideally my roofers will be here, and they'll be shooting down shingles and wrapping it up, and we'll get on there too. I got a thing called ridge vents, we call them. I'll show you those tomorrow, but basically it's on the top of on the very top, the ridge we call it. You want to cut that plywood back a little bit so that hot air can get out, and you put the ridge vent on there, and that way it kind of lets heat out of your attic. So we'll be putting some ridge vent on here, especially on the places that have the attic space. All right, so that down to the last piece. You can see here, the last piece. So basically we went all the way around the house, and this is where we started. Went that way across the front, and now we came all the way around, and now we're at the final piece. And then all we got to do is jump on the roof and fix that little valley that should have never been there from the very beginning. They should have done that a little differently. Okay, so it took about 2 days. It's about exactly what I figured. Anyways, you can see here's the fascia job. You'll see a little couple rough spots here and there. We're just gonna fill those. But there's some new stuff there again. Around this corner. That piece. Around. There we go. And then our good. Then our drip edge got replaced here. Got a lot of wasps around here. And you can see that little piece there. And then the top piece, that drip edge was shot. We replaced all the plywood on that. And then where it connects here, where we got a valley at the top, that's in. Around here, it was mostly, yeah, that was such a long piece. We're gonna just fill it. Maybe we'll cut a little piece in, but anyways, it was a lot. And then we kind of get down here. We'll be getting in a new handrail here too, by the way. New handrail coming in here. And there's that last piece of trim. And they're shooting up the last of it right here.
Ahorita vamos a tener que cortar esto.
You can see it.
¿Cómo se ve allá?
Anyways, time for me to go take the kids to a movie. So I'm out of here to do that. So I'm back here and looking at Richard's work. So you can see the metal we were doing the other day. He's got it all done. He capped it just as he said, and got it flashed. He even painted it, which is pretty cool. He's got that little chimney cover on there that keeps the birds out. If you don't keep the birds out, you'll have other critters too come down in there too. But sometimes you have snakes. Snakes will go down. They see the birds going in and out, and the snake crawls up the trees, and then they go down after the birds, eat the birds, and they get stuck, and then they come out into the house. And I've had it happen a couple times. One time I come into the house, my own home, and my wife had freaked out because there was a snake skin completely wrapped around the bottom of our toilet. It had come out of the chimney, went in, shedded its skin off around the toilet, and then it ended up making a home. It went up under the couch and found a rip up under the couch, and he was up in the couch, so I ended up finding him, and man, he was a big snake. You know, wasn't poisonous or anything. But anyhow, so man, everything's worked out beautifully. Like I said, I didn't want to lose 2 weeks on this job, so Monday, I let him go ahead and strip this roof, fix the plywood, and then we came back the following day and started doing the fascia, which normally I would have had the fascia done, but I didn't, but just because of scheduling, so it cost me a couple hours time. But here's the good news. It's Friday, started Monday, and no, it's Thursday, and I'm done today. It'll be done today. So you can see, you know, you can see the new plywood, you can see we got the new fascia that we nailed on yesterday, and everything's looking really good and tight. Remember that little valley problem I explained? You can see where his foot is. That's been addressed. For a while we had like a flat spot here that was going to sure to be a problem, and it was a problem for the previous owner. So this little ridge built in here took care of that. Now there's just 2 clean valleys going both ways. I'm a big fan of ridge cap. So ridge cap lets the heat out. You can see what this is. This is what this is right here. And so what this does is, you see how this is cut open down here? That's to let heat out. Then this will go over the top of that. You can see the screws are already ready to go. So those will rock up and screw down. And then now this becomes a vent to let the heat out of the attic. Anyways, so, and you can see it's flexible, so you can kind of, it doesn't matter what the pitch on the roof is, you can adjust it for any pitch. So, anyways, glad to see it done. Like I say, we're a little bit tight getting that fascia done in 2 days, but it was a long day yesterday. And you can see everything's looking good. And anyways, so that's it for now. I don't even think, I may not even come back and show you the final result. You can pretty much see what it looks like. But I'll probably pop up here. But that's it for now. Flip Anything USA. And please share, subscribe, etc. And but that's it for the 3-day roof deal. 3-day deal of the roofing. Thanks.